Hi guys, this is my Chinese post-race blog. We went straight from Bahrain to China, so we had a couple of days to kill. Tuesday and Wednesday night were free, so myself and my trainer Rich actually went into the city centre, had a little look around, met up with Daniel and his trainer one night for a dinner, which was cool. Moving on to Thursday, so prep day. Probably not much to talk about there. I've been to Shanghai before, but we sort of the track walk, a lot of meetings, media as per usual. Friday, we hit the track for the first time in China. Strangely, we weren't anywhere near as competitive as we were in Bahrain. So that was a bit confusing on the first day. We did have some issues on our car, but even my teammate Pierre, you know, we didn't have that same. He didn't have the same level of competitiveness as in Bahrain. So we made a few changes overnight, you know, to try and maximise the car that we had. But going into Saturday, we knew that reaching Q3 would be really tough. Bahrain, Pierre, my teammate, did get through to Q3. I was less than 1/10 off getting through to Q3, so yeah, it was a surprise. The qualifying itself I was really happy with. I think I got most of the performance out of the car. I qualified 15th, I just got through to Q2, and I was just behind the two McLarens, and I think that was probably as much as we could have done on the day with the car that we had. So yeah, pretty happy with there. I think it was a good recovery after not the absolute best performance for me in qualifying in Bahrain. Yeah, we knew we had a lot of work to do starting from 15th for myself and Pierre from 17th going into Sunday, so we started on very different strategies. I started on the softest compound of tyre, which was the ultra soft, and Pierre started on the medium. I didn't have a great start, which was annoying. My actual start off the line was good in Bahrain, but I didn't 100% get it right in China. It's quite a tricky process to get these Formula 1 cars off the line. By the nature of the rules, that they've made it difficult and a little bit less consistent than in the past. So yeah, something to work on for the next race.
I think we need to get off this compound as soon as we can.
First stint, I struggled on the ultra soft tyre. I think it was, yeah, all the competitors around me had the harder compound. So yeah, didn't have a lot of pace in the beginning. We changed to the medium, which the pace looked a lot stronger, but still it was going to be quite a challenge to get into the points when you were potentially going to undercut a few of the competitors. But without anyone having any failures or mistakes, I think that 10th place was going to be tricky to reach, considering the first lap wasn't great either, starting from 15th.
I just got hit by Gasly. I think there's a lot of damage.
Where did you hit? Where did you hit? Was it
He hit me on the rear. He hit me on the rear.
Middle of the race, myself and Pierre had contact, which was really not ideal. That's pretty much the worst thing that can happen in a race in Formula 1 where two teammates had contact. In the end, it was a bit of a misunderstanding. I let Pierre by earlier in the race when we were off strategy, and I was doing the same in the same place later in the race, but he thought I was letting him on he thought I was letting him by on the entry. I was going to let him pass on the exit. It happened. We'll move on. It would have been a lot worse if we were fighting in the points. We also had to retire the car early, which was because of a fault the mechanics and engineers saw in the gearbox. Hopefully not a big deal going forward, but we didn't actually finish the race. So yeah, a bit to work on for Azerbaijan. Obviously take the positives from Bahrain, that we definitely have the potential in the car, but just trying to understand why it didn't work in China. Characteristics of the track are very different. There's very long corners in China with combined entries and exits. It was a lot colder, it was very windy. The wind is the same for every car on the pit lane, but how it affects these very complex Formula 1 cars aerodynamically can be very different. So yeah, a bit of work for everyone on the team to understand why we had such an amazing pace in Bahrain, but not in China. And yeah, look forward to learning a new track in Azerbaijan. I love street tracks, there's some really tight corners there. yeah, and hopefully get back that pace we had in Bahrain. I'll see you there.